Hello, this is Greg Bickley TV, and today we're heading to Elmore to talk to locals about the need for a pedestrian crossing in the main street. This is a project that has been identified by locals for many years. So let's get to Elmore now and hear what the locals have to say. So Jen, can you tell us why a pedestrian crossing in Elmore is so important?
I guess it's just that it's a safety issue, really. Difficult to get the children across. We take the school kids across for the swimming program. And we need to be a little bit creative at times to try and get them across. And I've got a nursing background. It's a disaster waiting to happen, basically.
So how many kids in Elmore? You've got two primary schools and a preschool. How many kids are we talking about roughly?
We've got, I think, 34 at the primary school, similar numbers at the Catholic school, and between all the groups at the kinder, you'd have around about 40. There's
right,
3-year-old and 4-year-old program running.
It's a significant number of kids to be moving across the highway to get to the pool and tennis courts and that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
The need for a pedestrian crossing in Elmore is getting greater and greater. Can you give us an idea of why it's so important?
Well, I think from a safety point of view, especially for the older people in the town, everyone has to go across to the post office, but it's also, I think, for the school children in that. They've got to go from one side of the railway place onto the other side, even to go to the local swimming pool or anything where they want to go.
And this has been on the cards for some time. It's pretty overdue, I would say.
Well, from my knowledge that I've heard around, it's at least 20 years people have been fighting for it.
Now, you've got the bakery here in town, so weekends, obviously an increase in traffic and an increase in the number of people travelling through Elmore, so something like this is pretty important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like with the bakery, you're looking at some days we have up to 400 or 500 people come through that bakery in a day, and so you've got traffic banking up, and even people from the other side can cross there at the post office and walk down to the shops and that. So I think it's important for the shopkeepers and that, for their trade to have the crossing.
So Diane, you have the news agency here in Elmore. Why is it important to have the pedestrian crossing as soon as possible?
Yep, it's for people's safety, in particular elderly and young kids, to get across the road.
I have Bruce Anderson with me from the Elmore Progress Association. Bruce, can you tell us why this is such an important project for Elmore?
Look, Greg, as you can see by the traffic that's going through the town, it is hopeless to try and cross this street safely at pretty much any time of the day, and particularly in the peak seasons during harvest, etc. And with traffic to and from Melbourne through to Echuca of a weekend, it is bedlam for most people to try and cross our road. We just want something done so that people can safely cross, and that includes the school children when they go to the recreation reserve or to the swimming pool at their sports days. We just feel that we've got a petition now with over 500 names of people that are concerned about this hazard right in the middle of Elmore. We don't want a fatality.
And for a small country town like Elmore, having that many signatures on a petition is pretty significant.
Well, it shows you, Greg, that everybody is concerned. It's not just an isolated 10 or 20 people that think we want a pedestrian crossing.
Now, this is a project that's been identified by the local community some years ago. It's been on the agenda for some time.
Look, Greg, I've been associated with the Progress Association, let's say, for 10 years, and I know this was happening well before that 10 years. It's perhaps been going for 15 years, and we've got records showing the attempts that we've made through various times, through the City of Greater Bendigo, through Vic Roads, through politicians, to try and get something done, because there is a desperate need for something to be done. We want a safe crossing.
So Liz, you're the acting principal at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Primary School in Elmore. Why is the pedestrian crossing important for your school?
We have children that live on the other side of the highway, and crossing morning and afternoon at peak times for traffic is a safety issue. There are lots of facilities on the other side of the highway that we use as a school: the swimming pool, the tennis courts, the recreation reserve. And we've been known to stand on a corner for 15 minutes to wait for traffic to go past, to wait for it to be safe.
So you think it'll connect the town more as well? I mean, it is split over each side of the highway, so the ability to move more freely across the highway will surely be a good thing.
It will be, and it will be good for children, for independence. It will take some pressure off parents. We have children who are of independent age to get to and from school, but not when they have that highway to cross unsafely.
And there's been a few near misses, I believe?
Yes, a few near misses. So they just need a safe way to cross.
We've had a great morning here in Elmore this morning, talking to residents about some of the issues that are important to Elmore residents. One, of course, being the need for a pedestrian crossing right here in Railway Place. And as the traffic steams by, it's something that has been made very clear that the residents in Elmore want this pedestrian crossing, and it's certainly overdue. And so thank you to the Elmore residents for passing on this petition, which I'll certainly follow through with the Minister for Transport, Terry Mulder, and hopefully we can get some real action on this very soon.